everybody, Whitney here. Now, if you're one of the 10 million women in the US who have been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis, you really should get screened for celiac disease. And celiac disease is an autoimmune disease that is brought on by gluten sensitivity, and it ends up destroying the lining of the small intestine. And the small intestine is where all of your nutrients are synthesized and absorbed. And usually in a healthy small intestine, the whole thing is about 20 feet long, and it's lined with what looks like a shag carpet. And this shag carpet has, well, these little shags, like little tendrils, that are just kind of swimming around in the intestinal lumen, and they absorb all of these very small nutrients directly into the bloodstream. Well, the autoimmune process in celiac disease destroys these shags. And so they slowly wear down, and instead of having a shag carpet, you have this very slick surface. And if you don't have any shags, you don't have any nutrient absorption. So many people with celiac disease wind up being deficient in lots of different nutrients, but calcium is a big one. And of course, we know that bone loss is directly related to calcium deficiency or the inability to absorb calcium. And recent studies do suggest that there is a strong correlation between celiac disease and osteoporosis. So it really should be a general screening tool once you get a diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia. Now, there are some other ways that wheat can interfere with nutrient absorption that can result in osteopenia and osteoporosis. And you don't have to be gluten sensitive, actually, for these to occur. So in all grains, there are these anti-nutrients called phytates. And phytates bind to the minerals that you eat. They bind to all the minerals that are passing through the small intestine. So you can find phytates in all grains. You can find them in nuts and seeds. They really are protective mechanisms that these plants have to keep them safe from predators. But when we eat them, those phytates are released in our digestive tract, and they bind to all of our minerals. So instead of absorbing the calcium from that yummy yogurt you're eating, the granola that you've mixed in with it is actually binding up all that calcium, and you're eliminating it in your stool, and you're not absorbing it. And that happens in everybody, right? You don't have to be gluten sensitive for that to happen. Now, another way that your bone density can be impacted is because there's another part of the grain called the lectin. And in wheat, it's called wheat germ agglutinin. And this lectin can inhibit the absorption of vitamin D in the small intestine. And we know that vitamin D is super, super important to like your ability to absorb and utilize calcium, right? So for adequate bone density, we need vitamin D, we need calcium. So eating wheat will lower vitamin D in everybody. Eating wheat will bind up minerals in everybody. And in people with celiac disease, that autoimmune process will destroy the nutrient absorption capacity you have in your small intestine, which means nothing's getting through, and you're going to be deficient in calcium, vitamin D, and everything else under the sun. So if you've gotten that diagnosis of osteopenia or osteoporosis, please, please, please get screened for celiac disease and get screened for gluten sensitivity. That would be great. And conversely, if you have celiac disease or you know that you have gluten sensitivity, you might want to go ahead and get a DEXA scan, request one from your doc, and check out what your bone density is just so you can get a baseline. Okay? All right, see you next time, guys. Bye.